It's finally happening. Electric motorcycles don't suck anymore. In fact, a lot of them, quite a few of them, are downright awesome. And while most still can't compete with their combustion counterparts as far as top speed, power, and range goes, they're quickly developing their own benefits and their own advantages, and they just keep getting better and better every year. In this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 electric motorcycles for 2024 within their respective price ranges, and they're also bikes you can actually afford and will want to buy. Okay, then number 1 is the E-Ride Pro SS. The under $5,000 class right now is just swamped with so many competitors, it's almost impossible to keep up with. It's like a new one every week. And most of them make the claim that this is the Sur-Ron killer, and then as it turns out, it couldn't kill anything. E-Ride Pro made the same claim, and I kind of rolled my eyes at it, and then I rode the bike, and was so impressed with how powerful this thing was. 12 kilowatts of power out of a 72 volt 40 amp hour battery and power setup. The Sur-Ron Ultra Bee, for example, only has a max peak of 6 kilowatts, right? Top speed of 45 mile an hour. The E-Ride has a top speed of 60 and 12 kilowatts of power. It's twice as fast. Now that's not saying that other bikes like the Sur-Ron, like the Tellurius Sting R, for example, are bad bikes and not worth buying. They absolutely are. But the thing is that since the E-Ride come along, they're gonna have to make more power in order to keep up, because let's be honest, that's frankly what we want. Before the E-Ride came out, you would have to buy a normal Sur-Ron and then drop another $2,000 to $3,000 on a new battery, new controller to get it basically as powerful. And it's also not too expensive. You can pick one of these up for about $48.99 over at Varg Motors. There is a link below, obviously. I do this for a living. Yeah, seriously though, man, I'm not trying to sell you this thing. Ride one and it'll sell itself. It's that good. But before we move on, I did want to show you this. This is the Solar Eclipse Race Edition. Damn, it's a good looking bike. We're gonna be doing a full review on this thing further down the road. The reason I wanted to mention this is because this is one of the few supermoto focused only electric bikes in the, I was gonna say under $5,000, but I think it's gonna be more than that. The around $5,000 price range. So it's nice to have this in my hands. Subscribe so you can see the review later on down the road. All right, moving on to number 2 is the Sur-Ron Ultra Bee. Now, if you happen to work a little bit more overtime than the rest of us and you got a bit of extra cash to spend, around $65,000 to $7,000, the Sur-Ron Ultra Bee would be my best option if I had that money right now. The Sur-Ron Ultra Bee is kind of the middle ground between the full-size electric dirt bikes and the $5,000 ones, the lightweight class. Kind of hangs out right in the middle. The Ultra Bee features a 74 volt 55 amp hour battery, has a top speed of 56 mile an hour, and makes a claimed max peak of about 12.5 kilowatts. Now I know what you're thinking, Hammy, the E-Ride is basically just as powerful as this thing, and it costs $2,000 more than the E-Ride. What am I doing? Why would I buy this thing? Well, the truth is, man, the Ultra Bee is one of the few bikes that would really get me off the E-Ride right now. And that's because it's just a much nicer bike all around. You get better brakes, better tires, better suspension, better range. It's a little bit taller as well for those of us who are nearly 6 foot. It's quite comfortable.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
God damn it. I was on such a roll. Anyway, it's too early for this. It just gets so hot in the garage that I can't film these without being bathed in sweat. I did that. It looked dumb. Ultra Bee is a bike I would actually love to own. I would ride it a lot. And I think you can pick one up for a pretty decent price, used, if you're able to find one. Now, unfortunately, I only think there's the 23 model out right now. I don't believe there's a 24 one being released as of the date of this video. But it doesn't matter, man. 23 version is still a great buy in 2024. I love the Ultra Bee. You'll love it too, I promise you. There's no link down below. I make no benefit from trying to sell you this thing. It's a great bike. All right, moving on to number 3, the Ryvid Anthem. Now, if you wanted to buy an electric street bike, you'll be spoiled for choice if you had a buckload of money. So if you wanted to buy an affordable electric street bike, the Ryvid Anthem is your best bet, coming in at around $6,500. Now, I've ridden the Ryvid Anthem plenty of times. I actually did a full range test on it not too long ago on the channel, which you can check out. And I got about 28 miles of range on a fairly casual ride. You know, the battery technology isn't quite where it needs to be to really make an affordable, long-range electric street bike. So you do have to understand what the Ryvid is and what the Ryvid is not. Is the Ryvid a freeway bike? No. Is it something you can ride from town to town? No. Is it something you can ride from state to state? Obviously not. One thing I did forget to mention about the Ryvid is how fast the bike charges up. I remember I got it down to about 30%, and was able to charge it up with a 110 outlet all the way back up to 100% in about a little over an hour. It's by far the fastest charging bike I've had in the garage so far, and also the charging cable itself is super small and tiny. You can just coil it up and throw it in your backpack. This means that the bike is super easy to charge. You can ride it to work, charge it up, and then ride back home, no problem at all. It's a bike for you to buy and then ride around your wonderful city that many Californians have moved to and are gonna ruin it the next few years. The Ryvid Anthem features a 72-volt battery that has a peak power of around 14 kilowatts. It has a top speed of a little over 75 miles an hour, and I personally found that you're able to achieve those speeds all the way down to like 35%, which is pretty impressive. Now, what makes the Ryvid so awesome is how smooth and refined the bike is. A very clear amount of money and research and development went into putting this bike together, all to sell for $6,500. It's not like so many other e-motorcycles in this world where they just get a Chinese frame and throw a badge on it and throw it out to the market. Hopefully it sells. They always make the time to show up to every EV trade show, so if you wanted to try one out, just head to your closest Electrify Expo. However, they are coming out with a new bike called the Ryvid Outset, which is more of a super motard version of the Ryvid Anthem. That bike is going to cost $59.99, a couple $100 less than the Ryvid Anthem, and apparently that thing is a torque monster, unlike the Ryvid Anthem. The Anthem is very much like the Ninja 250 of the electric motorcycle world. It's perfect for beginners. It is very powerful, but it doesn't just launch the front wheel in the air as if it's trying to somersault you or anything like that. It's super easy to ride, very smooth, perfect for beginners in every way. Whereas the Outset, I'm told, is going to be a bit more torquey. So guys who are a little bit more comfortable with the front wheel coming up, you know, gonna break some traffic laws. Moving on to number 4 is the Land Moto District. Now, Land Moto makes a fantastic dual sport style electric dirt bike. The Land is a 72-volt bike that has a peak power of around 17 kilowatts and a top speed of 70 miles an hour, much like the Ryvid, except this is more of, like I said, a dual sport style bike, or a supermoto. They have a street sport version as well. The Land is all American made. It's all built and developed in Columbus, Ohio. I've met the team. They're super cool guys, real riders, man. So you know there's real thought, experience, and perspective that is put into this bike, and it really shows in the way the thing rides. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's a really well-made bike, and every time I ride it, it's like, dude, just give me one, please. If you want to get the version with the biggest battery, with the most power and the most range, you're going to be looking at spending around $9,000. If I was to compare a combustion motorcycle to the Land Moto District, I would say its closest relative would be the DRZ 400. The DRZ 400, much like the Land, is kind of good at any type of riding you want to do. They both cost around $9,000, and however, of course, obviously the DRZ will get way better range than the Land, so it's kind of up to you. Another thing about the Land is that it isn't a very big bike. I'd say it's not much bigger than a Sur-Ron Ultra Bee, a little bit bigger, but it's still quite a small compact bike, so smaller riders, even younger riders, could pick one up and get around on it pretty easily. Number 5 is the stock Varg. Now I've not ridden a stock. What's your favorite electric motorcycle at 24?
That one.
That one?
Voldex.
You hear that? Ladies and gentlemen, that one. It's called the Velotrek. He called it the Voldex. Now, I have not ridden a stock Varg, unfortunately. I wish someone would let me. However, I had to include it in this list because pretty much everyone has been talking about this bike. I've seen this all over the internet doing this, some of the most insane shit I've seen by pro dirt bike riders. The stock Varg has been converting hardcore motocross guys into smug EV elitists, just like Tesla did for the car community. What the stock is doing to full-size dirt bikes is exactly what Sur-Ron did to pit bikes. It's basically streamlining the whole riding experience. There's no clutch, no gears, no engine oil, no fuel, no noise. Pure riding experience, and not a lame one at that. The stock Varg knocks out the equivalent of 80 horsepower, which is 30 more than the top level CRF 450. The thing is insanely powerful, and the kind of riding that guys are doing on this bike right now is just awesome to watch. Colby Raha ran this bike at the X Games quarter pipe contest and was thoroughly yelled at for looking so damn sick. Colby Raha switched to electric. You probably should too. He doesn't seem like the type that would give up on the combustion easy. However, the stock Varg is definitely on the pricier side. If you want to get the top model version of the stock, you're looking at spending around $13,000, which is a lot of money for a dirt bike. Something you can't ride on the road legally, right? Legally, some of you are gonna do it anyway. But anyway, if you're an expert level dirt bike rider, if you got a lot of experience in the tracks, a lot of experience in the trails, and you want something that is kind of the ultimate electric dirt bike right now, the stock Varg is definitely what I'd be looking at. You can also settle for the Sur-Ron Ultra Bee. I heard people really like that thing as well, and it's also quite a bit cheaper, but it doesn't have quite the same performance statistics as the stock Varg. Now, do I envision a future where electric motorcycles overtake the combustion bikes as the dominant product? I'm not so sure. The sound, the smell, the rush, the presence of being around a big, powerful motorcycle is something that electric bikes will never get. The thing is that electric bikes are great at certain things and also not so great in some other areas. Like, can you imagine Supercross all electric? How quiet the venue would be? Could you imagine the Isle of Man TT being all electric? Just it would be lame as hell, and I think in a lot of ways, most motorcyclists will never convert to the electric side of things. It's just gonna end up becoming its own deal. However, the impact bikes like the stock Varg and the Sur-Ron are gonna have in this industry in the next few years is gonna be crazy. The thing is, man, is that most young kids these days, I'm betting, are asking their parents for a Sur-Ron or an e-ride as opposed to the CRF 150s or the KX65s like I grew up riding. Electric motorcycles are super simple, super basic. Your dad doesn't have to be a mechanic. Your dad doesn't have to load your bike into the truck and take you to the track or take you to the desert in order to go riding. You can just hop on it and rip around your suburb and do wheelies and become famous online. The generation of riders coming up are really going to be the ones that determine the whole direction of the motorcycle industry, because a lot of young kids are being introduced to motorcycling now through these small, lightweight electric motorcycles. And it's not just young kids as well. Grown adults who have never gotten a motorcycle before, never passed their test before, are buying these electric bikes and getting into the world of motorcycling. And the impact that's going to have in the coming decade in the industry is going to be huge. It's going to change it all together, I think. They're all about the purity of riding, and as someone who's been riding for their entire life, I have just as much fun on these that I do the combustion bikes, and that's all you can really ask for. Comment down below what your favorite bike of the year was. There's probably loads that I missed out on, but these are ones that I've ridden, ones that I liked, ones that I think you could actually afford and want to buy. So go ahead and drop a comment down below. See you all next time.